What's up guys, this is Hardik here. So this is my iPhone 10R and I've been using it for more than a year now, and I still get a lot of people asking me if they should buy the iPhone 10R or the iPhone SE 2020. So today we'll be taking a look at few of the reasons why iPhone 10R is still a good buy in 2020. So without any further ado, let's get started. So starting off with the display itself, although this is not a 1080p panel, I don't think it is that bad. The colors on this panel are pretty good. So I have a Pixel 2 XL with me as well. So that is an OLED panel. This is an LCD panel. So when I compare it side by side, I do notice few differences. The blacks are pretty black on the OLED panel itself. But if you have nothing to compare this with, you won't be noticing any difference. So the colors and the saturation on this particular display is also pretty good. So one downside here is you can't watch YouTube at 1440p resolution, so you are stuck with 1080p. So that is the only downside, but other than that, if you don't watch YouTube on your phone, this shouldn't be an issue for you guys. So the display, in my opinion, is pretty good. And if we compare it to the iPhone SE 2020 edition, this I think will be better than the SE 2020. So the next thing here is you get this huge giant display. So in the iPhone SE 2 you have a smaller display just like the iPhone 8, but with the 10R, if you spend a couple of bucks more, you'll get the same design as the iPhone 10 or the 11 series. So that is another good thing, because in my opinion, having this phone and basically this size is perfect, because it is not as small as the iPhone 10s or iPhone 10, and also not as huge as the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So this is a perfect fit for at least me, for medium size hands. But for smaller hands, I don't think this will be an issue, because it does fit quite comfortably in my hands. So I think this screen here is the sole purpose of me getting the iPhone 10R. So the second thing to get the iPhone 10R in 2020 is battery life. So battery life for me was really great on the iOS 13 builds, so the stable builds. So currently I'm on the iOS 14 builds, as you can see. So battery life for me is a little hit or miss, but these are my stats basically. And as you can see, I get an entire day of battery charge with almost 7.5 hours of screen on time. So that is pretty good, but I think the widgets on iOS 14 consume a lot of battery. So if you get the iPhone SE 2, there are chances that your battery might drain before the day is completed. So you will have to charge your SE 2 in between the day itself. So that is not the case with this phone. As you can see, it's already 1 PM and I have 57% of battery life, but I've already used it a lot. If I just go into settings and if I go into battery, as you can see, I've probably used it a lot overnight as well. I do a lot of FaceTime and messaging stuff like that. So for me, the battery life on the iPhone 10R has been pretty great. I have no complaints whatsoever. It lasts me an entire day. On iOS 13, I used to get more than a day of battery life on the particular phone. Again, I'm not a heavy user. I do most of the work on my PC and not on the phone. So yeah, I mean, battery life for me on the 10R is pretty good. So if you want a good battery life, I would say don't go for the SE, instead go for the 10R. So now let's talk about the performance. And again, as I said, performance for me is pretty good. As you can see, I've been running the iOS 14, and mind you, I have not rebooted my phone at all from the, I think, last week or so, from when we got the iOS 14 beta. I did a clean factory reset after installing the beta, because that is what I do. I like to start fresh on the new build itself. So I did that. But other than that, the phone has been running quite fine and no lags whatsoever. There are a couple of bugs in iOS 14 beta, but again, that will be fixed in the next update itself. So for me, the performance has been pretty great. And another good thing of owning the iPhone 10R is you get complete set of new features that the iPhone 11 series get with the iOS 14 beta. So you will have all the new features I don't think all the previous models are getting every feature. It's just from the iPhone 10R, 10s, 10s Max and onwards that you are getting all the new features in the iOS 14 beta. So that is a pretty good thing, and you get again all the latest features that you get on iOS 14 itself. So now let's talk about the camera. So as you can see, if you go into the camera, you have a couple of new features in camera itself. So first things first, you get the tap and hold for video. So if you just tap and hold, you will get a video. There we go. And this is a new feature which was introduced with the iPhone 11 series, and now you have it with the iPhone 10R as well. I don't think all the previous models do have this feature. This basically starts with the iPhone 10R itself. And you also have different controls for exposure and focus and stuff like that. So that is also pretty cool. If you're shooting a video, you can set a different focus and a different exposure that you like. So that is again a good thing which was introduced in iOS 14, and iPhone 10R also got that particular feature. So I don't think the iPhone SE is going to get this particular feature. So yeah, again, that is another thing, another reason why you should buy the iPhone 10R in 2020. So while we are on the topic of the camera, I'll basically just put a link in the description down below for all the sample photos that I've took with the iPhone 10R. So I don't think it's that bad, but for me, the Pixel is still the camera king, and my Pixel 2 XL still beats the iPhone 10R in dynamic range and stuff like that. So the iPhone images are basically flat and you can edit it later on, but Pixel gives you the contrasty photo, which I personally like. Your opinion may be different, but for me, Pixel is still very good in photography. So yeah, I'll just put a link for all the sample images in the description box below. If you guys want, you can check it out. You can join the album, and yeah, you'll basically just see the quality of the iPhone 10R. So then comes all the daily basic use for, let's say you have a good amount of RAM in this phone, although it's I think 2 gigs, but it holds up pretty well. It is better than my Pixel 2 XL, and yeah, it holds up pretty much every app in background. So I won't be going this back because these apps I think I've opened all the previous apps a week ago or so, and they're still in the background itself. So I don't think they'll open because of the 2 gigs of RAM, but for me, in the daily usage, I have not noticed any lags or whatsoever while opening and closing the apps. So if I just go into social, there we go, Twitter, we have Instagram. I don't know when I opened Instagram. Then we have Telegram, then we have Snapchat. There we go. Everything opens pretty quick, and yeah, I do like the performance on this phone, and the RAM management, in my opinion, is really good. So the reason you should buy this over the iPhone 11 is, first of all, the price. The iPhone 11 I think is 15,000 rupees more than the iPhone 10R. So if you don't have that much money to spend, just get the iPhone 10R instead of the iPhone SE. So with the iPhone 10R, you don't have to spend much if you plan to buy the iPhone SE 2020. I think you'll only have to spend around 10k or 8k basically. But if you also have the HDFC cards and stuff like that, I think you'll get a pretty good discount on the 10R as well. So yeah, I don't see a reason why you guys won't be getting any discount on the 10R. So the another reason is you'll be getting 5 years of software updates in the future. So I think this device already got the iOS 13 and 14 beta. So 3 more years of software updates, or probably 4 more years, as we saw that iOS 14 does support the iPhone 6s and the original iPhone SE as well. So you'll probably get it 3 or 4 years more. So this is a basically long-term device in my opinion, and I'll be obviously using it for more 3 or 4 years until the software updates are dead. So yeah, this is a long-term device, and if you are planning to use it for 3 or 4 more years, it'll work just fine in my opinion. And yeah, unlike all the Android updates which you get only for 3 years or maybe 2 years, this will last you even longer if you buy this iPhone 10R. So these were a couple of things in my opinion which makes the iPhone 10R worth it in 2020. If you have any more points on this particular topic, just do let me know in the comment section down below. You'll be welcomed in the comments, and yeah, I'll also be reading your comments on your opinions as well. But yeah, these were a couple of points that I think which makes the 10R worth it. If you agree with me, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you don't, make sure you give it a dislike. So yeah, for me that is pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next one.